The Christian theory of the concept of time. The theologian Professor Lambrosconsu writes, "We've already entered the new year with the grace of the triune God, the Holy Trinity, and along with our hopes and expectations for the new year, these days our souls are filled with reasonable reflection on the concept of the flow of time. This is because time, together with its twin brother space, according to the late Father Justin Popovich, constitute the two heavy yokes of man throughout his early life, which limit his ardent desire for absoluteness. The concept of time is an ancient and mysterious concept for man. No other being has a sense of the flow of time, much less does he have the ability to measure it, except for man, who alone was endowed by God, the Creator, with reason, thanks to which he surpasses the instinctive state common to all living creatures, and is thus reduced to the sphere of philosophical reflection. And he, from a very early age, based on the eternal mobility and changes of the natural environment in which he lived, conceived the concept of the flow of time. The space and movement of material existences troubled him and filled his soul with wonder and many questions. The most important phenomenon that concerns him was the alteration of day and night, which became the primary measurement of time. The duration of the day was also measured based on the movement of the sun. Depending on his position in the celestial sphere, the time of day was also determined. The totality of the days and nights, and in relation to the annual solar cycle, determining the time year. The conception and definition of the concept of time is therefore closely intertwined with the position and movement of the material surrounding world, and is also directly related to the changeability of material creation. This was first conceived by the ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus, 580 to 490 BC, who had summarized his entire thought about time in his proverbial phrase, "Everything flows." The world was ordered by its creator God not to be static, but to be in constant change and movement, in an uninterrupted flow which leads to its teleologic purpose. Man is an integral part of divine creation, and like this, he is also subject to the cosmic flow, which he himself called time. In order to better express his subtle concept, he included it in his mythological symbolic representations. Among the Indians, time is represented by eternal circular cosmic dance of the destroyer and creator god Shiva. Among the ancient Egyptians, the goddess of the night sky Nut swallowed the sun every night, digesting it, and in the morning she would rise again in the east. This was the uninterrupted process of the temporal cycle. Among the Micmac Indians of pre-Columbian America, the concept of time had a magical character, and they perceived it as a continuous present. The ancient Greeks represented the relentless time with the Titan Kronos, who ate his children, wanted to declare the inexorable law of the birth and decay of beings. Pythagoras considered time as a sphere that encompasses everything, and nothing could remain outside the inexorable law of time. Plato explained the Heraclean philosophy, connected the variability of the material world with the time. Aristotle considered the concept of time as the main aspect of the eternal movement of material bodies in the entire universe. And finally, the Stoics considered time as an incorporeal being and an intermediary in the movement of the universe. And the Jews, having the Old Testament as their guide, believed that God is the creator of everything, even time. He leads the world through temporality towards the purpose of which he created it. Time is also integrated into this purposefulness. Nothing exists outside of divine providence and will. Time is the course of the world towards its completion. In Christianity, time has taken on a completely different perspective. It contains profound theological, anthropological, and ethical dimensions. Time has a beginning and will have an end. This is clearly expressed in the first and last sentences of the Holy Bible. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, Genesis 1:1. and behold, I come quickly, Revelations 22:20. The first verse expresses the genesis of time, and the second declares its end, along with the end of the current form of the world. This is one of the fundamental positions of Christian teaching, which is in contrast to the various pantheistic faiths which accept the self-existent and eternity of the world. The Word of God categorically emphasizes that after the final Trinitarian and in the time of Christ in his second and glorious presence, the conceivable heavenly Jerusalem has no need of the sun or of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of God has illuminated it, and its lamp is in the Lamb. Its gates will not be shut by day, for night will not be there. Revelation 21:23. It's obvious that once the material creation is recreated and its incorruption is complete, there will be no change and therefore no temporal relationship. There is another important parameter of the view of time. It's now sanctified after God, the Word, decided to enter it, become man, and undergo the spatio-temporal limitations of his creation. John 1:14. After the incarnation of God, time and space, these two basic idioms of material creation, took on a different role within the teleological cosmic perspective. Before the incarnation of God, space-time served evil, which had entered as an unnatural state into God's creation. The course of the centuries of the pre-Christian era was in essence the perpetuation of evil in the world. After the coming of Christ into the world, the concept of time was integrated into the work of the salvation of the human race. Now time serves as a divine work of the salvation of the world. It serves the salvation of man. Time is not simply a mechanistic course towards the end of the world, but each moment of time is precious for man's saving heavenly course towards God. It is an uninterrupted acceptable time and a continuous day of salvation, according to the Apostle Paul in 2 Corinthians 10:11. The time of our earthly life must be utilized to the fullest. Every moment wasted can be fatal for our future position in eternity. The great apostle of the nations in another of his writings urges us, "For now salvation is nearer than when we believed. The night is far spent, the day is at hand." Romans 13:11. The eternal God will come suddenly as a thief in the night. Matthew 24:43. And woe to anyone who is caught unawares. Outside of this perspective, the concept of time is meaningless, useless for man, and perhaps quite boring. Our earthly life, as a preparation for the endless eternity, gives real meaning to our lives, momentum and strength to overcome all obstacles and achieve our high purpose. The limited space of the column does not allow us to expand our philosophical reflection on the concept of time, which is truly inexhaustible. We suffice to recall the personal obligation of every intelligent person to positively utilize every moment of his earthly life for personal and social progress. Progress and civilization are conquests and the results of hard work and much effort. May the new year be for all of us another challenge and opportunity to give our own noble struggle in all areas of our lives, which will make us worthy and ultimately reveal us as godlike personalities. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.